Kisses, misses. Click, 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 click. Hi, guys. Bougie kiss, mwah. Bougie kiss, mwah. Hugs. Hi, you guys. Oh my gosh, this is so long overdue because this is the second episode of the Law of Assumption Princess Pod. This is so long overdue, y'all. Oh my goodness. I know y'all are like, girl, where you at? Like, where you been? But I know that y'all have been enjoying the subliminals that I have been uploading lately. Listen, y'all, it is that time of year. I don't know what it is about like holiday time, the winter months, like that I really like enjoy consuming and creating subliminals so much. I think it's because we're so like on the horizon of the new year, you know? And it's just exciting and exhilarating to prepare new goals and to like set new standards for our reality. Like obviously at any point in time, my cat made herself at home and came over here and tried to drink out of my cup, but we don't do that, right? Anyway, it's that time of year where like you can just set new goals. It's a new cycle beginning. Obviously, we don't have to adhere to 3D time at all at any point, but I think it's just that feeling in the air where it's like, ooh, like, you know, a new cycle's beginning. Let's refresh. Let's set the bar even higher and let's go get them. Let's go get them, girls. But anyway, you guys, hi. I feel like it has been a hot minute, and eventually this podcast will, you know, not just be bound to being a audio podcast. It will be so much more than that, and I can show you better than I can tell you, but I will say set your expectations high because I'm so excited to like have guests on, etc., etc. So y'all, I have several different things that I would actually like to talk about this episode. I've been kind of easing back into Twitter. If you guys didn't know, I took a break from Twitter. Honestly, just because I wanted to. I'll put it like that, just because I wanted to. Sometimes it is good and it is more than okay to get off of social media and just focus on being you, being the god of your reality. You don't always need to utilize something outside of yourself. A lot of the times we can get caught up in doing that unconsciously, and it's just healthy to take a step back, reel back in. If something doesn't feel good to you and you don't like doing it, guess what? Don't, because you don't have to entertain anything that you don't like. So it's really just as simple as it was just something I kind of didn't really like anymore, and I didn't really want to actively participate in it anymore. And at the end of the day, it is just social media. I'm a rambler, so I know that y'all love that, and at this point y'all know that, so I don't even need to set a disclaimer. I could just kind of get into what I want to get into. Okay, so I started going back on Twitter, and that was primarily because I really utilize my Twitter and all of my social media to talk to myself out loud. Anytime y'all see me post anything, I am not really talking to anyone besides myself, y'all, and I feel great and I feel immensely blessed that people resonate with it and people identify with it and like it. That is amazing. But everything I curate is from my heart space, and it is for me. It is something that I want to see. It is something that I would benefit from seeing. It is something that I would benefit from consuming, and so therefore it gets created. So I was kind of on Twitter and like, you know, I was talking about several different things. But one of the things I was really talking about is really reinforcing the fact that God isn't doing, it's being. Okay. And I kind of said that in one of my very specific tweets. I'll pull it up right here. I will quote verbatim. I do think a good way to notice if you're operating as God versus operating from the 3D version of you is if you are still pondering extensively on how. And what prompted this tweet actually was because I made a tweet previously earlier in the day, and I was talking about how, you know, I have finally found a way to robotically affirm and apply that technique that doesn't feel burdenous. It doesn't feel laborious. It doesn't feel like hard work. Because for a long while, I've told y'all so many times before, I didn't really like robotic affirming. It didn't feel natural to me. And if you're one of those people that it doesn't feel natural for, I just want to let you know right now, off rip, that is okay. And that goes for any technique or anything. that doesn't just automatically align with who you are, and it just doesn't make you feel good. It feels harder than easier. You're not doing anything wrong just because you don't like a specific technique or you can't jive with it. Not jive. Tiffany, what year is it? Damn. I'm about to bring jive back, y'all. Like, at this point, I'm about to bring jive back just because it's my reality and I can do that. We're going to take it back to the 1970s. But anyway, just because you don't identify with something doesn't mean that it's something wrong with you. It doesn't mean that it's something wrong with the technique. It is just as simple as, I don't like this. And for a while, that was me with robotic affirming. I've tried so many times with the robotic affirming chat. I have tried so many times and I have never vibed with it. I love repetition. I love saturation, but in the form that feels most authentic and natural to me. And with robotic affirming, what was happening is I would sit down to robotically affirm, and I was so focused on getting to an arbitrary number that I would kind of get hyper fixated on the number itself instead of actually focusing on my shift changing into the wish fulfilled, into the being the woman that has it all, being the God of my reality who literally transcends all circumstance, transcends all whatever, you know? And so that's why I didn't like it. And the way that I've come to know to like it now, the way that I've allowed myself to like it a lot more now, is that I took the number off of like this hierarchy that I subconsciously was like putting it on. I was like, oh, I need to just focus on the fact that this is an exercise to put me in the state of the wish fulfilled, to put me in the state of abundance and having, and nothing more than that. Now, I will say, I already gave them a shout out on Twitter as well. At Manifested app, love it. Love that app. It has worked for me far much better than the counter app per se. You know what I mean? Like the counter app, I just got flashbacks. The counter app was never for me, but I like the Manifested app because it can you can put it on auto affirm and you can kind of just go about your day or whatever activity or thing you may be doing. And it feels like it's reinforcing it in a way that doesn't feel abrasive. I'm not thinking about the number. I'm just doing it for however long feels good to me. And then I see, oh, I've been doing it for this long and this is the number that I'm at. But it's not, that's almost secondary. It's not something that I'm like consistently thinking about, oh, I gotta affirm. I know y'all remember the 10K challenge days. Hate to give other people flashbacks, but I know y'all remember them days and them times. And, you know, there was validity to that too. You know, that I have nothing bad to say about any method on this planet. One thing I will never be is a method shamer of any sort. Even if something doesn't work for me or I don't identify with it. So what? Doesn't matter. It's still valid and it still like holds value and it can work for other people and that's okay. But all that to say, I was just too focused on the number, and I really noticed how a lot of people were asking me, how? And it's not that asking how is a bad thing, guys. It's not that asking how is inherently negative, or again, it doesn't necessarily mean that you're doing something wrong, but it could be something that you want to take heed to based off of the simple fact of we have to get to a place in time where we understand that there is no reason to hyper focus on the how, especially like when it comes to something like this, y'all. Understanding that there's no wrong way to apply any of this. Everyone is essentially applying the same technique and the same principle in whatever way works for them that they feel good about. And I feel like that really should be the top priority. But I got a lot of like, how? And of course I shared. I don't care. I love sharing. It's what I do. That's why I have this channel, to talk about the law and to talk about the ways that I apply. It makes me excited. It invigorates me. But I did notice that there was people almost kind of like desperately, like really wanting to know, like, how did you do this? And I can speak from experience when I say I remember the days where I needed to know exactly how somebody did something, how they applied this arithmetic, because I almost needed to have permission to know that I was doing it correctly. I needed to compare what I was doing to what they were doing to know that I was doing it correctly. And so I say all that to say, as many times as we've heard it before, it can never be said too much. We need to stop taking the focus. We need to stop putting the focus on the how. And we need to start putting the focus on who we're being. Who are we being? One of the major breakthroughs that I really had throughout my journey with the law, and I think it's kind of a breakthrough that's like continuous because it's subtle, but it reminds you, it like really will tell you like whether or not you're there, so to speak. And what I mean by there is accepting your power, like buying the pearl, like Neville says. When I get to a place where I am not needing to ask anybody how they manifested anything, when I see a video come up on my For You or my, my YouTube homepage, and it's intriguing and I might want to watch it just because like, oh, like this is a subject matter I care about, but I'm not watching it to know how somebody actively manifested something, because I already know how to actively manifest. I already know how to perfectly manifest and apply it to my life. I've been doing it. I've been doing it my whole life unconsciously, so I'm already a master at it. But now I'm doing it from the place of fulfillment, of knowing, of giving myself full permission to be the limitless bad bitch that I am. And that's it, okay? You know what I'm saying? So I say all that to say, like, there's no harm in asking any questions at all. But I want us, okay? I want all of us to consistently and repetitively give ourselves the answer to how. Give ourselves the answer to how. How are you going to give yourself the answer to how, Tiffany? It could just be as simple as, because I said so, because it's done. And that's it. Remind yourself that you're God. Does God have to ask any other source, any other vessel for permission to be God and to apply its godliness and to show up as his whole God self? Absolutely not. Absolutely not. There's just no way. You get what I'm saying? So I'm really excited just because so much has been happening for me internally, externally. And I know I say that all the time, but the reason why I say it all the time is because it's true. And it's kind of just why I haven't been as active on this channel as I really wanted to be this year. And I really like, in the back of my mind, a few times, I kind of got on myself for that, because I was like, oh my God, like I really, y'all know, like I say it a million times over. This is my favorite platform to be on, like, period. This is my favorite platform to engage with, just because I love you guys and I love this community so much. It is so enriching. And I think that it's just like one of the best online spaces, if I'm being quite honest. And I just love my YouTube community so much. You guys are so amazing. And it just makes me proud to see everybody walking in their limitlessness, whatever that looks like to them, and doing it unapologetically and proudly. That shit radiates joy through my spirit. Okay. It makes me so happy to see that. But anyway, y'all, moving on to one of the next tweets. And the reason I'm kind of going through these tweets is to just touch on like little mini topics. You know what I mean? Just a little, quick scroll through. Okay. Okay. Perfect. So one thing I was talking about as well, I'll read it for y'all. My manifestation journey is, for me, it's an apology letter to myself for what I used to accept. It's a gift to myself that transcends all. It doesn't have to make sense to anyone but me, because it's for me. This is really important to me, actually. And I just want to sit here right now, and I just want to say, if you have been if you've been having trouble giving yourself full permission to step into your story, to apply the law of assumption, to not, without like trying to bring logic into it or trying to bring old stories into it and yada, 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 yada. If you have been having trouble giving yourself permission to do that, this is me giving you permission to do that right now. This is me giving you full-fledged permission to be your best limitless self right now, here in this moment, okay? And I need y'all to really understand, like, especially what I said towards the end of that tweet, which was, my manifestation journey doesn't have to make sense to anyone but me. Okay. The way that I really came to fall in love with the law of assumption for real, y'all, is by allowing it to be something that was so entirely just for myself, and not even like in the sense of like a redemption arc and like I have to prove this to other people, I have to prove this to this person, I have to prove. I really didn't care about proving anything to anyone that wasn't me. And I personally feel as though that is what made me genuinely fall in love with my journey. There comes to be a point in time when you're like actively and consciously applying this work that it gets addicting. It gets addicting. I'm telling you. When you see your self-concept morph and change for the better right before your eyes, there is something, it is just something so enriching about that. And like, y'all know we kind of live in this day and age. Who cares about the 3D? Who cares about what they're doing, right? But we've seen these popularized narratives of like, you know, you gotta get your lick back, and I'm coming back for revenge on everybody that's da-da-da-da-da. People who took stuff away from me, and people who, you know, whatever. For me personally, because there's not a wrong way to think and there's not a wrong way to exist, but this is me talking loud, live, and in color. From my own personal experience from applying this law for the last 5 years. For me, personally, there is nothing more enticing and vibrant than changing yourself for the better and getting addicted to that real, true dopamine. Honestly, seeing yourself morph and change for the better before your own eyes, to the point where it's like, bro, I almost kind of compare it to like stacking Mario coins or some shit. Like, you know what I mean? Because it's just like, it's exhilarating. And at some point you get to a point where you feel like, oh my God, I remember when I first started, and I never would have thought that I would have got here. I never would have thought that I would have been here at this point in my life right now. And it's like, I'm here. And so if I'm here, imagine how much higher I can go. Imagine how much more I can do. And it's not even just about the materialization of things. Because I tell y'all all the time, everyone's so focused on the materialization aspect, right? And I get it. Because we're human and we want our shit and we deserve our shit. You know what I mean? Your shit is supposed to be tangible. It's supposed to be experienced by you. And that's the whole point. And I get that, right? But for me, it was about my overall perspective of me and the world around me. Like, that was the real jewel. That was the crown jewel of it all. Because I already knew that materialization was included. I've never had to try for any of my manifestations to materialize. I've never had to try to get any of my manifestations to appear in the 3D, because that's a given. That is a given. That's not something that I have to break. There's no cheat code for that. That's just how the shit works. It's called the law, the ALW. It is law. So I don't have to force what is law. If a ball gets thrown up into the air, it's going to come back down, because that's the law of gravity. So I don't have to try to get anything to materialize before my eyes, because it's law. It's going to happen anyway. Why am I forcing what's already done? Period. That was just a little tangent. But for me, it was just like knowing that, oh, you don't have power over me anymore. And not only do you not have power over me anymore, I get to decide that this was something that benefited me. I get to decide that this was something that left me with my cup overflowing. I get to decide that this is something that blessed me. I get to decide that I'm not a victim. And that shit, like, I don't know if y'all can hear it in my voice right now, but even just talking about it right now in this moment, it literally exhilarates me, y'all. It sends so much joy and vibrancy through my veins. Because it's like being unshackled. It's genuinely like being unshackled. And I meant every single word that I said in that tweet, bro. It's an apology letter to myself. Your manifestation journey is not just about A, B, C, D, E, F, G. I gotta follow the technique to a T. I gotta do this and then the third. I gotta do. No. It is about telling yourself, I'm sorry. I'm so sorry that there was a point in time where I didn't know better, so I'm not gonna blame myself. I didn't know better, so I didn't do better. I didn't know better, so I didn't change your narrative and change your perspective. I didn't know better, so I didn't tell you better, uplifting, positive, enriching stories to enhance your life and enhance your experiences, because I wasn't privy to that information. But now that I am, my apology to me is that I'm going to give myself the world on a silver platter. I'm going to lean into ease. And this is so random. I'm going to throw this in right now just because it's like on my mind. It just popped into my mind. I was on the phone with my best friend last night, and I was kind of telling her, she told me some things about how, you know, sometimes she kind of wishes that she would settle for less. And she was kind of explaining it in the way of like, she doesn't want to set her expectations high to get disappointed, because she's the kind of person where even if she really likes somebody, if they're treating her as less than, she's going to walk away, you know? And I told her, I was like, well, rightfully so. And she's not super well versed in the law, mind you guys. So they are, all my best friends know that I'm like a very avid law of assumption user. They respect it, even if they don't fully entirely get it and apply it to their lives. But, I told her, I was like, well, you have to kind of think of it from the perspective of like, there's so many people already occupying that story of taking less and being okay with it, taking less and convincing themselves that they're okay with it. You know what I mean? Because a lot of times it's cognitive dissonance, you know? And there's so many people who are already queued up in line next to follow that story. There's so many people actively living in that story, and there's so many people who are going to be living in that story because they don't even know that their beliefs are curating that for them. And so I told her, if you think about how many people are already like occupying this story for you, essentially, why would you think that you need to be another one? You need to be another body. There's already people living that experience. Do the different thing. Like, you're expecting more for a reason. You can't settle for less for a reason. It's because that's not your nature. That's not who you really are. So you're already halfway there. Being halfway there, part of being halfway there is just recognizing it. You know what I mean? It's just knowing it. Yeah. So that is a very good thing. We're not supposed to settle for less. We're not supposed to convince ourselves to be okay with crumbs. And we're just going to take the little itty bitty crumbs that we get and we're going to cake them up and we're going to bake a cake out of it and everything's going to be okay. No, you're supposed to have a 3-tier cake. Personally customized to you. Personally, mine is buttercream. I have vanilla pound cake, buttercream, frosting with pink decor, flowers, of course. The whole shebang. I'm just being silly, but like, y'all know the gist. But I say all that to say this is for you. It doesn't have to make any sense to anyone outside of you. It doesn't have to make sense to I don't care even if you have a law of assumption best friend and you have somebody in this community to talk to and you're doing something that they don't see eye to eye with. So what? This is your shit. This is your story. So what does it matter? What does it matter? By you, for you. I used to say that all the time. I would say that all the time, especially last year. I'd be like, my story is by me, for me. And it is. Only one motherfucker is writing this shit. It doesn't matter. But anyway, chat. There's so many things that I have up and coming. I need y'all to go ahead and check out the most recent subliminal that I've uploaded. It is the reconciliation sub, and it is the ×3 version of the reconciliation sub, because it is holiday season, y'all. It is holiday season. I know that you want your SP. I know you want this ring on your finger. Y'all want a rock on your finger like yours truly, okay? So I'm trying to get you to come over here and join the club, baby. Okay? I'm trying to get you to come over here and join the club with us, right? I want you sitting pretty, having your man, having your girl, having your friends, whoever it is that you want back into your reality and back into your life. I want you to have that, okay? So that's why, again, I'm going ham with the subliminals this season. Also, my Manifest Your Desires by Christmas time. I make one of those every year. That version is coming, divas. Do not worry. I cannot wait. And as always, like, I just love it when you guys give me feedback or give me ideas, because after a while of making so many subliminals and affirmation tapes, y'all, it does get repetitive. I'm like, what the hell do they want? What do they need? So I do have the link in my description, if you drop down, a Google Doc where you can give me ideas, you can give me input, and also just putting it in the comment section is fine too. You know what I'm saying? So either way works for mother. But what do you guys have planned for this holiday season? Me personally, my best friends are coming up into town. We're getting a beautiful hotel. I cannot wait. We are going to do Christmas together, and we are going to make dinner, and we're going to have hot cocoa. And this is like really exciting, you know what I mean? Because I think when you do Christmas as an adult, it's a little different. You know, it's not that it's any less enjoyable, okay? Because in our reality, everything is vibrant and happy and enjoyable. But you know, like when you don't have a child, like me right now, I'm childless. Not for long, y'all. I got maybe a few more years on me before we go ahead and pop this baby out. You know what I mean? But it's just a little different. So I can see just like how my self concept is showing up and things are coming together. Because I will always tell myself a few years ago, I'd be like, oh, I'm going to be having divalicious, cheetalicious holidays. I'm going to be living in my vibrancy. I'm going to be like Grinch auntie holidays, excursions and such. And now I'm doing that. And to come to think of it, I was doing it this time last year too. You know what I mean? Friendsgiving, like all that. Just very lush and posh and fun. But I just wanted to come on here and just talk about that with y'all, you guys. Like, I really honestly believe in y'all so much. I'm not going to get corny. I'm not going to get emotional. Y'all not about to get that out of me, okay? But I believe in all of y'all so very much. I feel like this is just a community of people who can really just take over the world and change the world for our collective's benefit, not just for like, you know, one singular person, but the collective's benefit, y'all. And I just want to reinforce that belief into you, because I know that a lot of people who do watch Law of Assumption and do watch my channel, a lot of people who could just feel maybe disempowered, you know, confused, looking for guidance. And I just want you to know that you are so entirely whole. It's not even funny. Even if you feel like you're at your lowest, even if you're like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing with this law, I'm about to throw the towel in, you are still so whole and perfect. There will never be a point in time where you are not God. There will never be a point in time where you are not complete. There will never be a point in time where you are not smart. You are so smart. That is something that I've been affirming into myself a lot lately too. And also something that I talked about on Twitter. It doesn't always have to be a grandiose affirmation. It doesn't always have to be like, you know, paragraphs and paragraphs of like the biggest words ever, and you gotta speak in Shakespearean tongue and blah 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 blah. It can just be as simple as, I'm smart. That's something that I've been telling myself lately. And the reason why I like telling myself that, right, is because that statement, I'm smart, for me, it obliterates doubt, because I'm smart encapsulates intelligence. And if I'm intelligent, and if I'm smart, and if I'm intellectual, the concepts of fear and doubt and shame and guilt and all these other things can't even take form, because I'm too smart to even let them take life. Me and all my smartness and all my prosperity and all my greatness and who I am doesn't even allow things like that to take form, because I don't even exist in that state where they are there. I don't even exist in that state where they can take life. They're just non-existent. I'm in a completely different state. Okay. I feel like maybe that's something that we could talk about in the next podcast episode, maybe. States. I know that at once upon a time that was a very hot commodity, and it was a lot of things being said about that, but I would like to talk about that from my perspective. No judgment, no fear, no hatred, no hierarchy, none of that. Just fun and wanting my friends to get their shit and feel like they are such prizes in their reality. Sometimes I feel like even saying prizes is just too low level. Like, we're so much more than just prizes, y'all. Like, we're literally gods. We're literally gods. Like, let's say it how it is. Let's call it what it is. Like, we're living in our godhood, bitch. Like, you know what I mean? Fuck being a prize. Like, I'm literally the night sky, bitch. I'm the little fucking dipper. I'm the Milky Way. But okay, y'all. Let me know if y'all want that episode. Let me know, comment down below, because I would actually really absolutely love for that to be episode 3 of this podcast talking about states, you know? Anyway, you guys, I love you all so very much. Wow, half an hour already. I'm telling y'all, whenever I'm talking to YouTube, whenever I'm on this platform, I can just get to yapping, and there's no stopping me. I love talking to y'all. Y'all are so amazing. Anyway, you guys, until next time, you know that I love you. 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 I love you.